This is a Gorilla Podcast Network production.
Welcome to the Late Night Potluck Show. Potluck Show. Potluck Show. Potluck Show.
Welcome to the Late Night Potluck Show, episode 13. This is your host, Dave, hanging out here with Riel and our guests. How you doing, Riel?
I'm doing good. Welcome, all listeners.
How you doing? Yeah, thank you for listening. If you haven't listened to our podcast, please join us on SoundCloud. Check it out. This is episode 13. Again, we got a cool guest. We got a couple of guests here doing cool things in Bridgeport, Connecticut. But let's talk about what's on your mind, Riel.
Well, we're episode 13. That goes so fast.
Yeah, it's been
started back in November, and every week we keep on inviting very exciting guests. Always excited, look forward to hearing all the stories and things that we can learn from our guests.
Yeah, that's very true. We have, like you said, since November, and we've been consistently bringing pretty cool guests. And we've ranged from, smoothies, restaurants, farmers market, or gardeners, growing, doing cool things in Bridgeport, and also Norwalk. We had a guest last week from Norwalk. So you missed out.
I missed out on that. I listened to it. I wish I was there.
I'll bring some of her hot sauce next time. I forgot it. It's pretty good hot sauce. Yeah, nothing. Again, it's baseball season. I've been really busy. I feel like baseball is taking over my life. We had game almost every day this week. But my daughter's having a blast. So that's what we've been up to.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Anything going on? Anything else?
Well, on my end, for Love the Kick Snacks, I'm running a contest right now. It's ongoing on Instagram. So I partnered with one granola company, Nora's Kitchen Granola. They're all the way in the other coast. They're from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So,
Oregon. Okay.
Yes, they're Oregon. So yeah, we're both from different sides of the coast, so the country. So, yeah, but it's a good collaboration. I mean, we were matched up through an app, like a new startup matching different brands.
Right.
So that's a good service that they do. They match up, wherever you are, but if you have the same values or more or less complementary products, they match you up and see how you can collaborate. So this is our first collaboration, so I'm excited about it. Cool. So check us out at Instagram.
Take real quick, explain because you're doing a giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway.
Go ahead and explain the rules and where do they go.
Well, it's simple. On both our Instagram pages, we posted a picture and the rules about it. But basically, you just have to like and post it and tag three of your friends
And follow.
Right. Yeah. So those are the simple things. Then we'll pick at random.
And if you're not aware of our co-host here, Riel, he's owner of Love the Kick Snacks, and it's like I don't want to say trail mix. It's more like a glazed, spicy nuts.
Yes.
Okay.
Glazed and spiced nuts.
Spiced nuts. Thank you. All right. Cool. Well, I'm glad you joined us, Riel, tonight. So I brought in some sandwiches, some pressed. I got a Cuban and a Balboa. Now these sandwiches came from the Acoustic. We have Chef Paul working out of that kitchen, who owns B-flat Sammiches.
So this is our tradition. We share food first before we start everything.
So it's a tradition here on this show to break bread, and we talk about usually it's home cooked, but sometimes we don't have a chance, and we just pick up something on the way in, something local. There's some napkins back there, Riel. So the Balboa is brisket, sliced briskets with provolone. And then the other one's a Cuban, which is roast pork, braised pork with some ham. That's the mustard. So that's the Cuban.
Oh, it's mustard. Okay.
Yeah. So the Cuban is pork shoulder and ham with mustard, and then he presses it on like an panini press type thing.
So it looks like is that a foot long bread? No, ciabatta bread.
No, it's probably just an Italian.
Italian bread. Okay.
So Acoustic is located on Fairfield Avenue. I don't have the address on, but they're having an event tomorrow for Cinco de Mayo. They're gonna have a local artist, Rick Reyes, performing.
So what's your choice? One of these two.
You know, I'm gonna do one of each.
One of each.
You know, there's only 3 of us in here. Sorry, Lauren.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Thank you.
So, have you? It's probably a dumb question. Have you ever had a Cuban before?
Yeah. I can't remember what I know. I had one in the city, in New York City. They have Cafe Havana somewhere in the Lower East Side. So I know they're popular for like street corn.
Okay.
But I know the Cuban sandwich was really good too. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had. I'm pretty sure people would be upset for it. Like they heard me say this, but I've had the Cuban at Miami.
At Miami.
And I wasn't impressed. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've had most of my Cubans in Miami actually,
Okay.
and yeah, I'll say the same thing. Wasn't all that impressed. Like, it's okay.
It's okay.
All right. So
I'm sorry, I was bit. We usually count down.
we use it. We. Like now we missed Chef Raquel and who usually does the countdown for us.
I got 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Balboa. So this is the brisket with the provolone. I don't know if there's any sauce in this though. Just mayo. That was a little barbecue-ish.
But I like it how it's pressed.
They may have some Dave's angry sauce in that already.
There's a little bit of heat in there.
Right, so that little bite.
So again, for our listeners, where can they find this one? Where can they buy it?
The Acoustic Cafe in Bridgeport, Black Rock area. It's on Fairfield Avenue. I don't have the address on me, but yeah, you could Google it up. You could find them on Instagram. And Chef Paul in the back in the kitchen, he runs it's called B-flat Sammiches.
Oh.
Also on Instagram. So.
Right. Well, it's a big sandwich. I think it's more than for one person. You want this, so.
I'm not sure what they're going for in there. And it'll go good with this honey spot road. Thank you, Raz, for bringing this. So let's.
So Raz brought us Two Roads beer from Two Roads Brewery in Stratford.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yep. So it's a farmhouse ale. So the whole Connecticut beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a mix pack in there. The
Okay.
rogue one. So you got the.
I got the
So
honey
yeah,
spot
IPA.
IPA.
Yeah, I was a little tired of IPA, so
Well, I heard that Two Roads expanded already. They expanded
they have.
I think they're the biggest craft brewery in Connecticut. You know?
Oh, really?
Two Roads brews beer for other breweries too.
Oh, interesting.
So look at some of your favorite tall cans,
Uh-huh.
and you'll see Stratford, Connecticut on the can.
Oh.
So the first time I saw it, I was like, wait, what? That's in Stratford too? Like, I didn't see that before.
Right.
Then I found out, like, in the companies like in Toronto or something like that, or Canada or whatever.
And they bottle
And then I
it here.
found out, like, oh, okay, they do bottling and they do brewing here in Connecticut because it's cheaper
Uh-huh.
Right.
to brew where it's at and then ship out versus making it there and then sending it over.
Interesting. All right, that's good for our state.
Cool fact, yeah. So yeah, just continue to enjoy the sandwiches. But I'm gonna go ahead and start jumping into the next segment. We're gonna introduce you to Raz and Lauren. We have over the phone. We have Lauren. Say hi, Lauren.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm sad to be missing what sounds like a very delicious beer and amazing sandwich moment. Unfortunately, I'm a few states away, but I'll have to step into the Acoustic and try that out myself.
No, you said you're in D.C.?
Yes, yeah, Northern Virginia.
Hopefully it's vacation or leisure.
Yeah. Family. My nephew is the male lead in a musical, and we came to support him.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
And our other
What's
guest... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say our other guest is Raz. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Awesome. I'm glad you guys are here joining us. Raz, go real quick, introduce yourself, tell them who you are and what is it that you do.
My name is Raz. Everybody calls me Raz. Other folks know me as Razul. And I do a whole bunch of stuff, but in this particular place and time, I am the marketing coordinator for the Bridgeport Farmers Market Collaborative. And we oversee about 6 farmers markets, 7 farmers markets throughout the city of Bridgeport.
Nice. Well, we'll talk about real briefly what is, because clearly you're in the marketing. Where did that background come from? Like, because I know you have a couple of other things going on.
Came out of necessity. I've been involved in event planning for quite a long time, and as it started growing throughout my career, the need for graphic design became more and more frequent, and it was much more expensive waiting for a printer or waiting for a designer to make your flyers, especially if you need 5 or 6 different variations of something. Or if you have 4 or 5 events going out during the week, and it's eventually like, hey, I need to learn how to do this stuff. Right. So I started using that, discovering social media along the way, in the early days of MySpace and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff like that. And it turned into a necessary tool for any of our marketing and advertising for any of the events that we were working in. And then eventually started porting out those services for different groups, organizations, and companies as well too. And I've taken my talents now over to the farmers market to assist with marketing and outreach for them.
That's awesome. So now, how did that happen? Because were they already running their own farmers market?
Yeah, the collab has been in existence for a few years now, but this is the first time they've had a marketing director. Usually it was kind of handled internally as a group. Right. But having an actual marketing coordinator come in and coordinate and design and lead an actual marketing campaign for the farmers market. Last year was the first year, so this is year 2. We're going into having a marketing coordinator.
How about you, Lauren? How did you get involved with the downtown farmers?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the area in Fairfield County and moved away for a few years and spent about 10 of those few years in New York City working with community organizations that were focused on entrepreneurship and revitalizing downtown areas. And, decided about 2 years ago it was time to move back home, and just the stars aligned, and I ended up back in Bridgeport doing exactly what I knew and loved doing, and I joined the Downtown Special Services District in January of 2018. Wow. And the organization had run the Downtown Farmers Market for a number of years when I showed up. That's where I got to meet amazing people like Roz and Raquel and then Dave, of course, over the season. And I was really excited by the way that, because I've been to, my fair share of farmers markets before, but I was really excited by the way that the downtown farmers market combines definitely fruits and vegetables and access to fresh fruits and vegetables in an area that is doesn't actually have any grocery store market for residents, with art and music and fun. It's not just your transactional, like, show up for 20 minutes, get out. We try to make it a fun and inviting atmosphere where you're having a good time, see your friends, and enjoy your lunch. And by the way, get your fresh fruits and vegetables. And Roz is certainly the marketing coordinator for the collaborative and has helped get the word out about the market. But he was also our music talent booker last summer. So we're and definitely set the tone for how fun and exciting the market was, and we're looking forward to doing that again this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I've been to the downtown. I've had a stand there with Raquel selling the hot sauce, along with as well as the Black Rock Farmers Market.
Right.
And then, it's pretty cool. The live music, and even the gentleman that paints out there. Just watching him, come up with his art. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This year we're going to try and do more workshops. So not only will you be able to observe the artist creating whatever it is, whether it's painting or screen printing shirts or making jewelry or whatever it is, we're going to make it more of an educational setting. So you can come learn how to screen print or learn how to do big mural art, or as simple as creating a little bracelet, something like that. We'll make it more interactive this year.
Now, Lauren, you also are in charge of a few things. So you run the DSSD.
Yes.
So talk a little bit more of your role.
Sure. So our role, the Downtown Special Services District, is a entity that is primarily funded by the property owners in downtown Bridgeport. They pay a little extra on top of their property tax bill, and it gets directly reinvested in the district. And the services that the district receives include extra sanitation, public safety presence on the streets, and promotion of local businesses in the area. So clean, safe, promote, those are our three main areas of focus. And we are a small, mighty team that does that, and we are successful through the fantastic partners that we work with, like the Farmers Market Collaborative and I Love Bridgeport, and many others. So we're very lucky.
Awesome. So, Raz, now this year we have is it Nourish?
Yeah, so there's a new farmers market that's popped into the rotation this year, and that's the Stratfield Saturday Market. It's going to take place on Saturdays at Stratfield Park on the corner of North Ave and Brooklawn.
Okay.
And that'll be between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. as well, and that's managed by Nourish as well too.
Okay. Well, while we're at it, why don't you go ahead and name all the...
Okay, not a problem. So our first market of the week actually is the St. Vincent's Market, and that takes place at St. Vincent's Market. That's Market Hospital, not a market. On Tuesdays between noon and 3 p.m. I believe it is. And then their next market is the South End Market, which is on every Wednesday. It starts on June 19th, and that'll be from 3:30 to 6:30. Then we have our... I have my other notes here in order. And then we have our downtown market, which is on Thursdays, and it'll be kicking off on July 11th from 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
One day we can dream of a night market.
A night market,
yes.
right? Yeah, that'll be fun.
Then we have the East Side Market. That's going to be on Wednesdays, and that'll be the same place, 752 East Main Street at the old Health Department on the East Side. And that kicks off on July 10th, and that'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we have our Reservoir Market, also the home of GVI. GVI's Farming, and that's a 2-day market that's on Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursdays being 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that kicks off June 27th, and then on Saturdays June 29th, and that'll be from 10:30 to 2 p.m. 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Of course, Stratfield again, that'll be on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 12. And then we have our East End Market, tentatively will be on Saturdays 12 to 4.
Okay. You mentioned
So there's a lot of market going on.
It is.
right?
It is. So we're trying to satisfy multiple sides of town. There's actually 10 districts in the city of Bridgeport. So technically, there probably should be a few more farmers markets to handle the density.
So it seems like it's growing because you're saying you're adding another
It
one.
is. It is. We lost one market. Black Rock Market had to take a step back this year. Unfortunately, it's one of our largest market in the city, and unfortunately, had to take a step back this year just to regroup. But I think in the next coming year or so, they will be rejoining the fold as well. So we'll have another additional farmers market back in the mix, and then hopefully as we spread awareness for the farmers markets and to help empower local citizens to be able to manage and control and start farmers markets of their own, we'll have a few more popping up through the city too.
So so this is growing. As of how many years have this been
The collaborative has been in, I believe it's been in running for about 4 years now.
4 years. So
Yeah.
from that time until now, like how has it evolved?
I think some of the players at the table now has expanded. It was a much smaller group prior to this, and it's grown in its diversity as well too, and the interest from locals in buying locally sourced produce from in and around the state, within the city as well. So interest in this with people's health concerns, economics, supporting local businesses, and just becoming better connected as citizens, as a community and whatnot, has definitely taken off, and the interest is big now in focusing on local farming operations and opportunities to buy healthier produce.
So in marketing this, like how much does education play a role?
Quite a bit. So at each of the markets, we Raquel, which is one of your fellow hosts,
Yes.
She actually does a food demo to show some of the residents or within those different farmers markets of how to prepare some of the vegetables and sometimes fruits that are offered at those markets as well too. Because a lot of times we're introducing new fruits or new vegetables to communities that may not necessarily know how to cook these particular things. So a part of that outreach is, hey, here's all the stuff that you're buying today, or some of the stuff that you're buying today, and here's different ways that you can cook it and prepare it.
So you buy something and you learn something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
That's a great one.
And then I think this year we'll be rolling out some recipe cards. In Raquel's absence, when she can't be at a market and preparing, we can handle those out as well with some of the produce sold in the market to educate customers on how to prepare some of these foods.
That's a huge deal because you're walking around and to be honest, a lot of this is new to a lot of urban cities. You walk up to you're just used to what's convenient. You go to the bodegas, you go to the supermarket.
That's right.
And but when you go to a farmer's market, you're gonna see things. They're gonna look different. They're gonna taste different. And Raquel's demos, it's a huge deal because it does inspire people to try. Holy crap! Like I didn't know you could do that with that, and it would taste that good. I remember when she did a demo with the hot sauce. She did purgatory eggs. Purgatory, but the thing is, typically you use tomatoes for that, but she used tomatillo. And it's like I was clueless. Like that was pretty awesome that she had that twist, and it inspired other people to try that at home, and that's pretty cool. That's a big deal. Helps the farmers.
That's true. So that's most of the intangibles that you will gonna get in farmers markets. The interaction,
Right.
not just with the farmers or somebody like a chef who will be able to guide you like what to do with this.
Right.
So
Lauren, right? So some of the guys, who are some of the people are at the downtown? Some of the vendors.
Sorry, I just want to add one. Sure, I'll get into who our favorite vendors are in one sec. If I could just go back for a minute to talk about one of the big value adds for our market, for downtown, I would say that the collaborative provides is the doubling of incentive programs. So SNAP, senior checks, and some years when we can get the funding organized, we are able to double the value of WIC dollars as well. And for us, that allows an expanded customer base for our farmers, but also provides more accessible food for many people in the downtown Bridgeport area. And so as the market manager for the downtown market, I frequently ask our vendors about how their sales are each week. And, for some of them, for the farmers in particular, it's like half of their sales for the week that we're able to offer this, food assistance doubling program. So that's tremendous. Tremendous that the collaborative's able to do the fundraising to find all the available programs to match those fundings, and so people can stretch their dollars further. It's so important, and it pays for people like Roz to work his magic and let the world know that these farmers markets exist and when to show up and all that. So I think the collaborative provides a really valuable service, and if there are single farm stands out there in the Bridgeport area that would like to get some energy behind what they're doing, joining the collaborative is a really great way to make that happen.
Yeah.
But you asked me about vendors.
Oh.
Yeah. So the downtown market, and Roz can certainly speak to this too, is a multi-vendor market. Not all of the farmers markets in Bridgeport are multiple vendors. So we have a mix of fresh fruit and vegetable, local, and by local meaning Connecticut grown produce. In the downtown market, we have 3 to 4 farmers, depending on the week, selling fresh fruits and vegetables and spices and things. And then we have some prepared food vendors, jams, breads, salads, pizza.
Right.
Last year we had Bryac from Black Rock that does seafood. They had a raw bar and chowder. Chef Raquel offered salads each week made with produce from the farmers' stands around her, so it's super fresh. Elegantly casual cuisine made everyone's favorite zucchini bread and homemade jams. And then we had Park City Pies and Honey, providing pies and honey and some other stuff. We had Fortuna's Catering. And so just to pause on Fortuna's Catering and a pinch of salt for a moment, which is Chef Raquel, what's really exciting about those 2 vendor opportunities is that these are food businesses, thriving food businesses that don't have a brick and mortar storefront or restaurant, and they are able to get the word out and build a customer base by having a presence at places like farmers markets. So they're able to connect with future customers rather than just, taking the sometimes unaffordable step of opening a restaurant and trying to run your business in a number of ways. Those 2 entrepreneurs in particular provide a good example of how you can grow your business in stages and, do what makes sense for your business at the moment in time. Fortuna's used to have a storefront and they changed their approach and their direction, and yet their business is thriving as it currently stands. And a pinch of salt, maybe one day, but what's wonderful about that is that Chef Raquel is able to showcase the products of her students and help them take a step in the direction. I was proud to see that the students, and Dave being one of them, that were part of the market this year did really well and were able to test out their products. And we had another student of Chef Raquel's, our pizza vendor, be able to grow and sort of build out their customer base at the market. And then we had some, I guess I would call them drop-in vendors who weren't there, consistently every single week, that offered a variety of different products. So we had a flower vendor that offered fresh cut flowers. Phyto House, which is a plant business based in the Arcade Mall in downtown Bridgeport, offered like office and home plants and gardening paraphernalia. And then we had our live art demonstrations. Frequently, those artists would be also selling their work in the market. So you had a mix of, different things. I think this year we'll have some more sweet options. We had a lot of delicious savory things to pick up at the market, but we maybe missed out on the lunch dessert crowd. So we're going to try and expand that this year.
That will attract a lot more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess.
So I definitely want to touch on some of the things you mentioned, but I know Rio had a question.
No, it's a question like for people. You mentioned something like doubling the money or the SNAP. So yeah,
One
for
of you guys want to talk?
We doubled, right? So if you use any food assistance program and you come to the downtown farmers market and you swipe your card, we give you double that value in
great.
to use to buy your fruits and vegetables.
Right,
So you would show up with your like EBT card and swipe, and it's like you're buying.
So your $1 becomes $2 worth.
Correct.
Right. Exactly. And same for folks that receive through I think it's through Medicare senior checks. It goes through the Department of Health, the City of Bridgeport's Department of Health. But yeah, those get doubled as well. And depending on the year, if we can do the funding, it's other food assistance programs as well.
Okay, and as well as WIC, right? WIC, are they still doing?
That one depends on if we get the funding or not.
Yeah, it's time for federal funding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little tight these days. So.
Yeah, so we usually go through this kind of juggling act every beginning of the farmers market season of like, are we gonna have the funding for this before we have this? And so we never know exactly what we're gonna have and stay in place. So you're counting on federal funds to come in for a program, and even with state funds as well sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Now,
frankly,
I don't know if it's okay to mention this, but I saw a post today. You guys are hiring?
We are hiring for a SNAP coordinator.
Okay.
Right now, so we have applications. Well, we have a description out on our website and our social media. So anybody who is interested in that position, I'm not sure. I think we're looking at 20 hours a week, Lauren.
yes. It fluctuates with the season because it's a ramp up. As Raz mentioned, all those dates, like the markets don't all start the same week and they don't all end the same week. So it's a bit of it's a heavy period from, I want to say, July to mid-October, but, there's some slower times on either end, but about 20 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody that's interested in applying for that, please, by all means, drop an application in at the Farmers Market Collaborative. You can stop on our social media and submit there, or you can go right to our website.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. And I would just reiterate for those that are interested, training will be provided. So if you don't know what SNAP is, and if you've never been to a farmer's market, but you have a really engaging personality, and if you're bilingual in a number of languages that, are spoken in Bridgeport, then please apply. We can train for the technical pieces.
Now, is this open because I shout out to Leslie. Leslie is now the director.
We have a new director as well too.
Cool. I want to go back because you mentioned a couple of cool things. First of all, like she mentioned, like farmers market. Talk about how important, or maybe
food insecurity is a long time. How can I put it? Issue in the city of Bridgeport, and specifically in certain sides of town, and having how can I put it? Accessible access to fresh fruits and vegetables in these specific places that are considered food deserts and whatnot has been, it's been hit or miss. It's been intermittent. Some of those communities have been able to rally around for years before that, and guys used to go down south, pick up a bunch of vegetables and stuff, and come back and sell it back to the community on certain days, and then sometimes eventually that stopped happening. So in certain neighborhoods, you don't have a grocery store within 3 to 4 miles or 5 miles of a place, and then for the elderly, especially those that don't drive, or those with disabilities as well that don't drive, that's a long trek. Through the summer, through the spring, and especially the fall and winter, to access places that offer fresh produce and whatnot. So what the farmers markets allow is a more convenient kind of a patch. It doesn't necessarily long-term solve because we only do this partially throughout the year. It offers an opportunity for local residents that may have harder times to get to larger food locations like Stop and Shops and ShopRites and C-Towns and food bazaars and whatnot to access their fresh produce, but also offers the opportunity for local entrepreneurs, local farmers to get connected with community members, and to get keep the local economy going for food within the area as well.
You hear about social justice, right, equality and all that, and this now you're starting to hear food justice, because a lot of people live in the deserts, or and this collaborative is definitely working on bringing access to this good food, clean food. Yeah,
food insecurity contributes to public health issues as well, with high blood pressure, diabetes, and a variety of other health concerns that happen to residents because they're limited to the choices of food that are provided by either corner stores, bodegas, and whatnot. And even those bodegas, fulfill a significant portion of at least providing some kind of food. To local folks. In the long term, it's not the long-term solution for that to creating healthy, stronger neighborhoods and healthier neighborhoods as well.
And trying to convince people about the benefits of having this, farmers market and having a collaborative about this. What are the challenges, or what are the hesitation of people that you heard so far?
Probably the number one thing is is getting over the fear, because a lot of people think this is for people that are rich, or be frankly, that's why farmers markets are white people's things. But it's not, because it's something that has been provided throughout a variety of different communities that have provided produce or access to produce to places that don't have access to it. But probably one of the larger concerns, and Lauren addressed it earlier, is affordability. Because providing free range anything, pesticide-free, organic, local farm things doesn't often always end up on the affordable end. So that's a hurdle for people to buy produce there versus when they can go to, say, a Price Right and they can get 24 apples
that are the size of melons, probably.
For like $4. Versus going to a farmer's market where you're getting locally grown stuff that's not pesticide, filled, that's going to be healthier for you in the long run, and it's like $15 for like 2 pounds of apples. So that's a difficult hurdle for people that are already strapped by distance and then by income as well too. So encouraging some of those supplemental programs like SNAP and WIC and whatnot has been helpful in getting people to access healthier foods, and then helping to increase their buying power when they're at those markets as well too. And then working with farmers along with that, along pricing and finding kind of a middle ground to where it's good for both the farmer and the customer has been part of some of the collaboratives work as well too.
And I've had all good experience. They're all really nice and willing to answer questions. Really cool people.
Yeah, because my question is the challenges. So my next question is, what are the wins, the small victories that you're in doing this? What accomplishment or
I think turnout and participation from locals to see, to experience the inquiries and the excitement every winter, spring season, and people are start asking, when's the farmers market starting? When's the farmers market starting?
They got excited. Excited.
So Lauren has worked wonders with the downtown market coming in as well too, because I think it's probably seen some of its highest success. With a combination of contributors to it as well. We've had quite a few senior centers that come by and bring busloads or van loads of people to come down to the markets and whatnot. So it's been really, that's probably the most excitement or achievements that we can see, is that people are utilizing the markets. Farmers feel more receptive to wanting to return to the markets, and that's how we start knowing that we've been doing our job, and that what we're doing, the work that we're doing, has been successful, because now people are turning this kind of want into a need, and they're looking for this thing to come back again.
Right. And I think we want to turnout. I agree with that. Is you always want to make sure you get as many people in and out of the market as possible to make it a viable and profitable opportunity for the vendors, but also like an enjoyable experience for the customers. Otherwise, they're not going to come back. So we try, like, for us, the location's really important. We're in McLeavey Green. It has benches, it has tables. We put out additional tables and chairs. It has great shade cover. And then we do the music and the, engaging arts activities. We also have, I forgot to mention, our wonderful chess master, Gerald Moore, who, with big and small chess sets, engages people in play and fun. So I think, continuing to offer an experience that make people want to come back and interact and bump and chat with their colleagues and friends and neighbors is always a challenge and feels like a victory when you see it happen each week.
You play chess, Rail?
No, I don't.
No.
Checkers, maybe?
Checkers. So,
Gerald will teach you. Just come on down.
I honestly haven't been to any of the farmers market in Bridgeport, so now that I hear very passionate people, two passionate people talking about it right now. Well, Dave also made two passionate people talking about it, so I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Well, we're still looking for vendors if you're interested. So,
okay.
Let me know. I'll send you all the info.
Yes,
maybe
we'll talk about
maybe we
it.
could collaborate and share our stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely should. Like we're looking to ramp up the food entrepreneur wave that's happening in Bridgeport. There's quite a few local entrepreneurs within the city of Bridgeport and the greater Bridgeport area as well too. So anything that we can do to help bolster, help encourage, and to help expose more food entrepreneurs to the rest of the city, and start circulating those dollars among smaller businesses and growing those. That's
talk about that, because I know Lauren mentioned, for example, Fortuna's catering business. I followed her for years. Beautiful pictures of her work, right? And she was a guest here, by the way. Check out that episode; it's pretty cool. And I got to meet her and her mother, or the mom and daughter, at one of the farmers market, and got to taste some of their work. And that talk about how important or how a tool the farmers market can be for those up and coming entrepreneurs, startups.
Well, like any entity that can bring in a critical mass of people to expose to a particular thing or product and whatnot. The farmers markets have been, I think, instrumental in exposing a lot of local food businesses and entrepreneurs to an audience that is looking for local products to purchase. And I think being able to connect with the people that create the thing that you eat creates a deeper connection between the customer and between the vendor as well too, or to the point where you can be friends. I often use that with local artists versus buying older art. I was like, listen, I can't have a beer with Van Gogh, but I can totally have a beer with Jason Streeter or Liz Colaci or whatever the case is. And the same thing with Will Corpro. And the same thing with local food entrepreneurs. I can taste Raquel's food, and then I can text Raquel at the same about her food. Absolutely. Right afterwards, or any of the other entrepreneurs and businesses that are on the vendor end. They're extremely grateful to have people try their food because they're all passionate food people,
right?
And whatnot. And I think aside from the economics of it as well, it's just the privilege of having people eat and enjoy and make a connection through their food with them as well.
And that is, I can vouch for that. I was, like he mentioned, I was a student of Raquel in one of her programs, and she challenged her students to come on to the, offer her stand, set up and do like a market research type of, thing, and put your product out there, have a survey. You're not selling, but you're giving out samples and you're getting some questions, some feedback. And whether it was downtown or Black Rock, I got the best. They were asking questions. They wanted to know, and in the fact that I was from Bridgeport, they were supportive. They were cheering me on. They wanted to see me come back and as a a running business, in the farmers market, or whether it's going to be in the stores. And they wanna see you succeed, and I felt that on the market.
Yeah.
We also make an amazing product. Like, let's not forget that part. It's not like people are just being nice to you. You have an amazing line of really good hot sauce. Let's just be fair about that. Yeah.
Yeah, people get to ask questions of the maker of the thing that they're about to eat that they don't get to ask their usual companies. Like, you don't get to ask, what is it, Joe's? What's the hot sauce that everybody uses? Frank's hot sauce. So you don't get to sit down and talk to Frank.
Yeah. What I got on that was I'm standing off to the side, and I even had like a little girl. She was like 9 years old, and she's walking by the stand, and she's looking at the products and my label. Of course, my bearded face on the label, and she kind of looked over and she saw me from a distance. She came running to me like, "Is that you on the bottom?" And I said, "Yeah, that is." They're so everybody gets so like surprised that the man behind the household is standing right there with his product.
Yeah, and I think doing that too helps take the mystery out of things as well. Because I always use the excuse to myself, like, life is hard when you're stupid, and I use it all the time when I don't know stuff. And then I go either dig up the information, grab a book, go see it on YouTube, and then like, oh, that's how you do that. Right. And then the same thing with seeing the people that are creating your consumables and them walking you through the creation of their product. And it's like, wow, okay, now it's not this huge mystery anymore. I know how this thing is made that I'm about to eat now, and I understand and I can appreciate it a lot more than it just kind of showing up on a grocery store shelf, and it's just a thing that I go by and I have no idea how it gets there or how it's made. But now I have a connection to the person that makes it, and then the process that it goes through to become the finished product.
Right.
And that's a strong marketing tool for vendors, for makers. It's like the word of mouth. Once they talk to you, they'll share it with their friends that I met this guy, made the maker. It's like this and so forth. Absolutely. And I'll spread out like the validations right there.
Yeah. Right. You don't have to wait. It's all right there.
Yeah, it's really all about connections, and that's I think that's something that we're intrinsically linked to as human beings, is just making connections with people, with things, with places. And the farmers market allows a lot of those different connections. On that kind of level.
Now, Lauren, talk about, so if there is a entrepreneur listening right now, and he or she makes a product, what do they need before they can open up a stand, or what can they prove? Go ahead.
At the farmers market?
Yes.
So there's actually a number of different ways to get your product visible at the market. You can reach out to Info Bridgeport, hello@infobridgeport.com, and ask for the information about the downtown farmers market. And it's not an application, but just an interest form. So let us know a little bit about your business. And just apply or whatever, submit your interest form to be a vendor. And then there are other sort of co-tabling opportunities with existing vendors. So Pinch of Salt offers an educational program and gives space to her students at the market. Most entities working with food products need something called a Serve Safe certification and a license through the Department of Health that you are, safely preparing your foods. But in terms of, being a vendor at the farmers market, that's one benefit too of having our particular setup. We actually cover the costs of vending, so you don't pay anything to either the police or the police department or Department of Health for the temporary vending licenses to be out in like public space. We cover all of that for our vendors. So it's pretty low cost barrier to entry in that regard, as long as you have, all of your certifications in place that you need to have to be serving food to people.
Okay. Now, is that across the board, Raz, or every market is different?
As far as the process for
vending,
pretty much, yeah. It all runs through the health department and the police department. Okay. So pretty much every food vendor, if you're serving food and anybody's consuming at any market, all goes through the same process and checks and balances.
Okay.
All right, that's good to know.
Well, now that's again because I remember, I think, like for example, last year, becoming a vendor for the Bridgeport Farmers Market, there was a fee.
Yep.
So again, doesn't apply to all the. Like for example, Lauren.
No, I mean it depends on the market, and that's usually, whoever the market masters, and what their value is set at having vendors or holding vendors into that space, and to help subsidize some of the cost of producing the market, is how the cost is pretty much adjusted or valued and whatnot. So,
well, that by itself is a big help to the vendors.
It is,
because some towns would have a higher fees, and just applying for that, you're already down before you even start selling.
Yeah, we really try and make it as simple and as possible or easy as possible for vendors to become food vendors and to enter into our markets. Especially in a place like Bridgeport. It's already difficult enough to be an entrepreneur.
True.
And whatnot. And, there's no reason why the process has to beat you down on the way there as well, too. So we do a lot of background work as well, trying to smooth over paths with the city and the health department officials and whatnot, too, just so it's streamlined. They fully understand what these vendors are doing, what they're offering and whatnot. So it's not so much of this is the first time I'm hearing about this thing. I don't know what this is, so no. Mm-hmm. Which is oftentimes what you'll have if there's no real relationship between the officials that are approving these things, and the entities that are producing them as well.
Question. So, Black Rock Market, they're taking a little step back, taking a little break. Will there be a Harvest Fest this year?
I don't believe so. At least in that capacity from the Black Rock Market, which doesn't mean there isn't room for some other form of food celebration to happen in another place within the city as well. So it's still up there for grabs. We've got 6 or 7 markets now within the city of Bridgeport, and it's definitely some readjusting and refocusing that we're talking about, and adding a couple different accoutrements, so to speak, to the market lineup. Lauren and I were hinting at the night market. That's one of those things as well too.
We're gonna make it happen, Raz.
Yes, we're gonna do that. And then so there could be another Harvest Festival or food celebration of that size or magnitude within our purview.
What was a lot of fun was the holiday, Lauren. The holiday festival, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The lighting, the tree.
Oh, the holiday! Yes, the city of Bridgeport organizes a holiday lighting in December every year, and this year they, just because I asked, let us add additional food vendors. So it's a nice additional vending opportunity for our friends at the farmers market.
Absolutely, yeah, that was good. We definitely need more to attract more foot traffic towards where we were. But
definitely.
Yeah, that was good. Have you guys started? When is kickoff?
So first market kickoff is going to be June 22nd. Yes, and that'll be the Stratfield market.
Okay.
So that'll be a brand new market. So that'll be its first time debut for that market, and then all the markets after that will kind of be staggered each week following. So you have the 22nd for Stratfield, 27th for Reservoir. You have July 9th for St. V's, South End July 19th, Downtown July 11th, East Side July 10th, East End. We're still working on a launch date for them as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could definitely log onto the website and have a little bit more updated list.
So now,
market times.
What do we have any scheduled events, big events, anything coming up soon?
Outside of the markets, we've got Downtown Thursdays coming up, which actually we kind of bump up right against with the Downtown Farmers Market.
Check is on a Thursday, right?
Which is on a Thursday as well too. So we kind of transition right into both those things. We transition in, transition out between the two. So that's like a pretty big launch that we have. There'll be the Bridgeport Arts Festival, July 27th. It's happening on McLeavy Green too. So that'll involve quite a few food vendors as well. So those are two really big events we have coming up. Lauren, what else is on the calendar that's pretty sizable that I'm missing? I think the Jane's Walk is coming up on.
We're going to do our June 8th. We're going to do our second year of Jane's Walks, which is a neighborhood exploration, either a walk or a bike ride. And it's inspired by the principles of community-driven design. So, being an activist at your local level to determine and define the environment around you. That's Saturday, June 8th. And actually, if I could take a moment just to talk about Colorful Bridgeport a little bit, we are next Wednesday, so May 8th, kicking off a marketing campaign that will be more than just marketing, I guess. We're trying to create a more visible identity for downtown Bridgeport so that people really know what they can find and how amazing and awesome all of the entrepreneurs and residents are in the downtown area. So we'll be kicking that off on Wednesday, launching a new website, social media campaign, also integrating public art and what we in the biz called streetscape projects. So basically plants, plants, and how you activate your local parks, all toward this coordinated campaign that is intended to represent the colorful faces and backgrounds of people that intersect and connect in downtown Bridgeport. So we're excited for that, coming out May 8th. And then from that, we're doing related events like the Jane's Walk and what we're calling Colorful Conversations, which details will come on those soon, but basically opportunities to get together in the downtown area, connect with folks, and have a good time in all that downtown has to offer. And then we have a funny sounding and also fun time event called Tachakacha Nights, which are basically storytelling with pictures, kind of like a TED Talk, but really more picture driven. So people get 20 pictures and 20 seconds per picture to tell a really interesting story about their life, and all three of you need to do one, and anyone else who's interested. The next one is coming up on June 18th, and then we have a September date that I think we're finalizing the date for the one in September, and one in November, the same weekend as the Bridgeport Art Trail, which is always the Veterans Day weekend. So those are some short-term happenings, and then longer, further out on the calendar.
Awesome. That's awesome. A lot of things happening downtown, and we need to get more. We talked about it a lot with Kelvin as well. He was on the show and trying to get locals to come downtown.
So a lot of information. Give us where can people find all this information again?
So you can stop by the Bridgeport Farmers Market Facebook page, or our website is bridgeportfarmersmarket.org. You can also stop by the Info Bridgeport as well too. You can stop by I Love Bridgeport or DowntownThursdays.com or the Bridgeport Arts and Cultural Council. So you have quite a few opportunities for a lot of information to stop on by and surface. But I think once you find one of us, then you can find all of us.
That's great.
How about you, Raz? Anything going on? Because I know you also have you got quite a few things.
Yes.
BBT Creates.
Yes. So I have an event space called BBT Creates. It is a art and creative event space that we host a variety of different events. Matter of fact, there's a birthday party happening right now in there. that I left. Every Wednesday there is a poetry and open mic event called Poets Realm that happens there. It features poets, singers, artists, musicians, theater performers, and a variety of different talents. There's another event called the Kumba Kickback, which happens every fourth Friday, and it is a open jam session for musicians and for singers as well as poets. And there is no rules or there's no list. It's just completely open, collaborative format, and as it transpires and performs, it just happens. And we really turn out some really, really beautiful evenings with that event as well too. There's a variety of things on our calendar. You can go check out our Facebook page, BPT Creates or MagnaCon 7. There's a calendar of events that are happening in there. We have a hip hop panel discussion coming up on the 10th. As well there too. There is a album listening party happening this coming Monday. There's an anti-racism workshop this Wednesday. I believe it's 5 p.m., 6 p.m. happening at the shop as well too. And then a variety of other things on the calendar that are going to be coming up. The James Walk, I think the viewing is going to be happening on June 8th at our place from 9 to 5, Lauren?
Yeah, all day long. Check out movies about creating your own neighborhood and how to be an activist at the local level and engage with your neighbors.
Yeah, and then hopefully this year we're going to be doing some bike rides again with Bikeport Co-op, which is our basement occupant of BBT Creates. It's a workshop that was designed to show kids how to fix and repair bicycles. Then once they complete the program, they get a free bike lock and helmet. And then we do bike rides to a variety of different locations throughout the city. One in particular, Two Roads, which we're doing this evening. And just to show how bikeable the city is and easy to navigate. It's a great way to network and meet new people.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I was gonna say how tell the audience, tell the listeners how they can follow you. You've been doing that throughout the show, but go ahead one more time.
Yeah, you can if you can find me on Facebook, Razul Branch, or at Razivon Party, are my handles either on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow me from there, and then you can find the plethora of groups and companies and organizations that I'm a part of and Lauren's a part of, and see what we're up to and come be a part of it.
Lauren, how can they follow you?
Follow us, yeah. We are infobridgeport.com and on Facebook. And on Wednesday, May 8th, things will change up to Colorful Bridgeport. But for now, please go to Info Bridgeport. And then on Instagram, it'll be Colorful Bridgeport on Wednesday. But right now, it's info_Bridgeport. And that's where you can find us.
Okay. How about you, Rael? How can they follow you? Oh, Rael, anything going on? Anything happening? Any updates?
Well,
anything to plug? Any shout-outs?
Just follow on Instagram. So join the contest. You get good free stuff there. So might as well join.
Yeah, definitely. So look out for that giveaway. Love the Kick Snacks. And what was your partnership or collaborative?
With Norris Kitchen Granola.
Look out for that on Instagram. Do you guys have any shout-outs, any plugins?
Shout out to my mom and my dad. Morris and Lily drive me crazy, but I love them to death. So,
how about you, Laura?
Shout out to my nephew Samuel for being an amazing Sky in Mamma Mia. Just rocked the house earlier this evening. And to Leslie and Miles, my two favorite people.
Great.
Well, shout out to our other co-hosts who's not here.
I know, shout out.
Manny, Trevor, Cal, Marsha. We miss you. See you next time.
Follow me at davesangersauce.com. Well, that's the website. Check it out. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, Dave Zangersauce. Follow the show at Late Night. I don't know why I get stumbled every time.
Because it's late night.
Late Night Potluck Show on Instagram and Facebook. There's a link to the website. Check the new website out. We got merch, shirts, and hats now. So check that out. Thank you, Raz. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I personally thank Raz and Lauren here for two very passionate people about Bridgeport. So for taking your time to
Absolutely.
be interviewed here.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
You're both now episode 13 of the Late Night Malang Show.
Awesome.
Yeah,
13,
definitely.
lucky 13.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. Happy to be on it, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about how amazing Bridgeport is.
Absolutely. Check out the farmers market. They're all amazing. They're all cool people. Very fun activities. Performances as well. So local artists. Shout out to Alicia Foreman.
Alicia Foreman, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome. So all right. Thank you for joining us. Listening on every other Monday on SoundCloud. Good night. Peace.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks for listening.